Good afternoon. I'm Marian Greenspan from Congregation Adat Re'im, and I'll be the lay leader of today's meditation. The subject of today's meditation will be mushrooms, and specifically mushrooms as symbols of renewal. I've been thinking about mushrooms for two reasons. First, it's been a rainy summer. Many mushrooms of different shapes and colors have appeared in the woods near my house after the rains. And I walk around a little loop in the woods every day. It's been nice to see them appear and change. Second, during my recent vacation, I went to the West Virginia Mushroom Club's weekend meeting in Blackwater Falls State Park. There, I hunted for mushrooms, looked at mushrooms that other people had found, and heard experts talk about mushrooms, and finally ate cooked mushrooms, only those picked by the mushroom experts. Mushrooms appear suddenly in woods, fields, and lawns after it rains. Some are beautiful and some not so much. Some are edible and some of them are poisonous. They live for a few days, release their spores, and die. They're the fruits of networks of fine roots called hyphae that live in soil and decaying wood. And if you look at a rotting log, you can sometimes see these network of fine white roots in it. The roots help break down the decaying logs and other decaying matter into new soil. The networks live on after an individual mushroom is gone and produce new mushrooms when conditions become favorable again. Some of the spores that the mushroom releases may find a hospitable place to live and develop into new root networks. And many mushrooms have symbiotic relationships with plants or trees, exchanging nutrients through their roots. Dan Scleroux talked more about these root networks and how mushroom networks interact with the network of trees in a meditation a year or two ago. Why am I talking about mushrooms at meditation, Minyan? To me, mushrooms are symbols of renewal, of something new coming from something old and decaying. They also remind me that life can be brief. They're there for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then they're gone. I looked for information about mushrooms and Jews. One source on the internet claims that mushrooms sprouting after the rains were a favorite ingredient in ancient Israeli cooking. Several sources talked about a legend of Rabbi Gamliel, a Talmudic sage who lived in the 1st century of the Common Era. He was telling his students about the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel in the world to come. He said it would be a land of abundance where cakes to eat and fine wool garments to wear would emerge from the ground. A student scoffed at him. So Rabbi Gamliel took his students outside and showed them that truffles and edible mushrooms emerged from the earth overnight in their day, and pointed to this as evidence that in the world to come, even further abundance was possible with cake and clothing emerging from the ground. In Jewish law, mushrooms are kosher, but bugs on mushrooms are not kosher. And bugs like to eat mushrooms. So if you are picking mushrooms, which I have, check them carefully and remove insects before cooking, whether you keep kosher or you don't, which I don't. Jewish law recognizes mushrooms as neither animal nor vegetable, And in current biology, yes, they are their own kingdom. Talmudic sages decided that since they're not vegetables, the blessing to say before eating them is blessed is the one who creates all things with his word, not blessed is the one who creates the fruit of the earth. Although I think either blessing fits. Now I invite you to meditate on mushrooms as symbols of renewal, of new life coming from decay, and as symbols of new growth in our own lives, developing from parts of our lives that we have left behind either by choice or by necessity. You can imagine walking in the woods and discovering beautiful mushrooms, or playing a mental video of a mushroom emerging from the ground, growing and gradually expanding its cap outward, or meditate on whatever works for you today. Now, sit back and relax. Get comfortable in your chair. Make sure your back is supported. Ground your feet on the floor. Before meditating, we will scan our bodies one area at a time to release any tension. First, breathe into the area of tension and breathe out. Then contract muscles if the area is tense and let them go. We'll begin with our heads. Breathe in, breathe out. Contract your facial muscles and release them. Now, our necks. Breathe in, out, contract, release. Now, our backs. Arms and hands. Buttocks and thighs. And lower legs and feet. And I will bring us back from meditation in about 10 minutes. Begin to come back. Wiggle your fingers and toes and gradually open your eyes when you're ready and come back to the room. And this ends our meditation for this morning.